Community. This is Jacob coming to you for the second time today on the Dallas Open Micer YouTube channel. I'm back for another vinyl tag video. Got questions or prompts 17 to 20 from the 2021 Tales from the Crate vinyl tag. So without further ado, let's see what we got for question or prompt number 17. The last purchase. Well, I'm afraid that I got myself into a little bit of a pickle here because I just showed my most recent purchases on a vinyl record haul video, so. Yeah, that's already been done. If you haven't seen that yet, it's a delightful one. 50 plus minutes of nothing but country and Christian music finds, and of course, some Christian country or country Christian gospel records there, where they, you get that middle part of the Venn diagram filled in. But what I can do is I can bend the rules a little bit here, and I'll show you my last eBay purchase, and that'll be satisfying. I haven't shown these records yet. So I bought some new old stock from my favorite sellers on eBay. I'll show you what I got here. Get those out of the way. Here's the first one. It's a pure Remington steel. Herb Remington, I talked about him in that country gospel vinyl record finds video, and here he is again. This record on the Stoneway label, hadn't been familiar with that one, but a wonderful sounding record. Now, I will say all of these records that I purchased came some varying degrees of warpage. This was the least warped of the batch, and the record played very nicely. I think all three are going to need a little bit of flattening, or in the case of the one that's shaped kind of like one of those taco bowls that were popular in the 1980s for taco salads, as they lost popularity sometime before the 90s ran its course. But that one is so severely warped that there's no mistake in that the sound quality suffers. Now, this is one of the risks of buying new old stock. The shrink wrap can tighten over the years. Certainly, I would not put a record back in this, but I don't hold the seller accountable. It's a risk you take. It's one reason I've got a rule of thumb never to pay too much for a sealed copy. It's always a bit of a gamble. It's a gamble I usually win. But there are some times that you get the warped record, or you get some kind of gunk or debris that gets cemented into the grooves of the record that you can't always get out. It's just one of the hazards of this hobby. You don't have to worry about that with streaming files. Does it's a little bit exciting to live with the sense of danger that comes with buying records. So this record here, Remington Steel, it has the classic instrumental track Sleepwalk on here, and there's just so many wonderful layers in the instrumentation, the production, the engineering captures the performances so well. Sounds like Herb might be playing a theremin in the background. I wonder if he's getting those effects from the guitar, or maybe there might be an uncredited musical saw, in the band. Wonderful stuff. He does his signature number, Remington Ride, and just a stellar performance. Excellent recording. Wonderful bargain. Slight warp and all. I was looking at this record cover, and Mr. Remington looks quite different here than in the other album covers I have with him, or the other photos I've seen of him. There's something in his eyes. There's a striking resemblance to a girl I once knew, but I couldn't quite place her. Not someone I was sweet on, but anyone, if any of you that might have known me 25, 30 years ago recognize a lady that looks like that, you could let me know, because it's not gnawing at the back of my brain. Who is it that this photo of Herb reminds me of? Let's see what my next eBay purchase was. Got the Greatest Hits Volume 1 of Narvel Feltz, often overlooked performer, an incredible vocalist, very emotive, and he had some good kind of like country rockabilly chops as well. Looking forward to this one. This is the most warped of the bunch. Now there's the song "Drift Away." That was a big hit for Dobie Gray, and I've never cared for the song. I don't believe in getting lost in the rock and roll and drifting away. But the Narvel Feltz vocal, it just brushes aside all prejudice I have against the song, and overrides the reasoning part of my brain, and makes me enjoy the number. I'm looking forward to flattening this one and hearing it in its restored condition. Got another eBay purchase in that lot to share with you. It's another Narvel Feltz. This is one I already have, but ideally this is going to be an upgrade when I get this flattened out. The warpage on this one wasn't that bad. Looking forward to it. Narvel Feltz, Narvel the Marvel. I don't necessarily care for the rhyme. Having the name Narvel and Feltz, they did some rather unimaginative wordplay with his name for album releases, album titles, and that's unfortunate. As someone with a last name that has actual English language words in it. I always empathize with people who have their name used in uncreative ways. I'm gonna have another sip. That was a bit of a guzzle. Delicious. I'll wipe my mouth. And the next question prompt, an album they don't get. Well, I say I didn't necessarily enjoy this question, but I don't like the idea of me thinking I'm so clever. I appreciate things that other men and women mostly men, because that in this case, record collecting is a predominantly male hobby or activity. But statistically, I don't like to think. I am able to appreciate things that other men don't know how to respect, or can't recognize the genius quality in this thing that I can appreciate. I just think that's an unhealthy attitude. And the funny thing is about that, I found, of course, here I am being judgmental, and is that most of the people who claim to have some great sense of appreciation for something, they don't know how ridiculous they come across when they speak boldly of their superior taste. But an album they don't get. Well, I struggled with this one. I thought maybe I would even skip it, but then I thought, there's there's a way out for me on this one. And what I'll do is I'll not necessarily pat myself on the back for my own cleverness. I can show you an example of someone literally not getting or misunderstanding something. And so what I have here is this is not an album, but it is still a record. 45 RPM promotional record of Billy Joe Shaver's Chicken on the Ground for Mercury. So this came out in 1970, and he didn't record a full album until 1973 on the Capricorn label. So this is a record that went nowhere. I think one of the reasons was it was sort of an oddball song. This Chicken on the Ground. It was sort of sounded like a Pentecostal tent revival music, more than what Billy Joe would be known for, the outlaw country. There was a word that the Headley, another fat bearded man, used in a comment on a recent video, the outlier. I think Billy Joe Shaver was you could probably say, was more of an outlier than an outlaw. I think that word is a wonderful descriptor, and this record was certainly something of an outlier. There was really no place for it, but it's a promotional copy. It's got the stereo here in red, mono in white, and so there are markings from two different hands. There's somebody with what looks like a felt tip pen wrote 11/70. So I would assume that's November of 1970, and then the same date is repeated by someone with a finer tipped pen. Of course, Bobby Bare stole some songwriting credit on this one. Probably, made it so Billy Joe never got to see a dime on it. But this disc jockey, I guess, probably at a radio station somewhere around Texas or maybe Tennessee, wrote the following comment: "Good tempo," and that was all the person had to say about this one. Good tempo, no exclamation mark or exclamation point, just good tempo. And then this was cast aside and probably was left unheard for many years until I found it on eBay and gave it a loving home. So that's a record that somebody didn't get, or maybe it wasn't the kind of record that anybody could have gotten at the time. Let's see, next up, question prompt probe number 19 is a punk album, or the closest thing to a punk album. So I guess it was understood that a lot of people don't listen to punk or have an appreciation for it, and I'm, may not surprise you. I'm not really much of a punk rocker. I do have a greatest hit CD of the Ramones that sometimes play in the car. I like that Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio song. But most of those songs, even on their greatest hits, don't excite me too much. I did go to a punk concert when I was a teenager. I had friends who were into the straight edge punk rock scene, and they would go to punk shows on the weekends, and I was curious about what their weekend lifestyle was like, and I invited myself to go to a show with some buddies from school, and we went to the Showcase Theater in Corona, California, to see a band called 7 Seconds. They were the headlining act. Now they were just as bad as every act that played before them on the bill. I mean, I don't think any of them knew how to play their instruments all that well. There was a lot of aggressive drumming and strumming of guitars, but the singing was it was a lot of yelling, and it was strange. When we got there, it was like a gathering, a lot of boys that just seemed like they didn't feel loved by their fathers, and they were maybe taking out their aggressions and frustrations there in the mosh pit. I did not engage in the moshing. It seemed like it seemed like a dangerous thing to do. These young folks were throwing a lot of elbows, and I don't know if you look closely. I've got a couple of scars above my eye, and I don't want to have 3 of them. Two is enough. And anyway, so I sat back and I observed for the duration of the performances. What I remember most strikingly was there was an Orthodox Jewish boy there at the show that looked to be, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14 years of age. Seemed to be younger than most of the crowd, and he appeared to be very self-conscious about his curls, and he had a headband on, and I watched him. I don't know if his parents would have dropped him off for this thing, or if he had an older sibling or friends that drove to the show. My friend Matt drove us to the show in a green Saturn. Anyway, this boy, I watched him tuck his curls into the headband to try to make them look more, to try to hide them, and I don't know if he had been given a hard time for them, or if it was just something that he didn't want to stand out and be different. But that was the strongest memory I had of the evening, and there'd be many more years until I would go to another punk show. So the punk album that I have, it's this one here. the Gogol Bordello band, the Gypsy Punks record, and it has some punk elements to it, but I think I think of it more as some kind of world music, rock and roll, folk music. You don't need to slam your fists or smash into another angry young man while you're listening to this one. There's a lot of catchy tunes too. It has some a little bit of melody thrown into it, and they have things that I hadn't thought about doing much before. There's a song, "Start Wearing Purple," and the song is so joyful that I by the time it ends, I would forget that I like purple as a color, but I never would have thought of wearing it. But they got a nice violin number here, Mishto, on the record, track 15, and good fun listen to. So this was a group. My wife had this on CD, and shared it with me. And I thought I like that, and we went and saw the band a couple times together. And one of the times they played this album. It was quite a few years back now. Time does fly. I found that the times I've seen bands play a record live in their entirety, even if it's an album that I enjoy and know very well, I think I prefer, in a lot of cases, maybe with the exception of Brian Wilson's Pet Sounds tours, that I like to have the songs mixed up, as there is something a bit manufactured or cash grabby or forced in the way that an album is presented to cash in on nostalgia. It's that bloated corpse of a band, U2, has been up to that lately, and I hear they may be doing it again soon with their reviving the corpse of their Zoo TV tour and bringing it back to serve the loyal fans that they have, who will forgive them for not producing music that they like, as long as they're willing to play the old hits and be the nostalgic jukebox band that that people want them to be now. Anyway, that was I forgot there was more to the story. So I'd seen the Gogol Bordello a couple times with the wife, and we got tickets to see him a third time. And the day of the show, she started feeling a little under the weather, and she said, "Oh, go on without me." So I went to the show by myself, and the music was getting to be kind of infectious, and I was hopping up and down. The room, the crowd was largely middle-aged people, and there was a mosh pit that had formed, and I said, "Hey, what the heck? Let's cross this one off my bucket list." And so I went into a mosh pit for the first time in my life, and it wasn't quite the frenzy that I'd observed as a teenager. You have a mosh pit that's got 45-year-old bearded hipsters, wearing indie band T-shirts and drinking their ironic beers, and so the elbows weren't as sharp. The some of the testosterone had been depleted by the course of time and the passage of decades. And the thing you got to watch out for, though, this was not a straight edge concert. So the alcohol in the mosh pit that people bring in with them, it spills on the floor, and it makes the floor sticky and slippery simultaneously. It can be a little treacherous, and you don't want to have somebody slip next to you and grab on to you for support on their way down. You can have a 200+ pound man, putting his weight on you while he's falling. It could cause some permanent damage to your spine, and could be an injury that you could have for life. So I didn't stay on the mosh pit floor for too long. I did catch some elbows and some punk rock punches. But the thing that baffled me was this younger gentleman. He approached me, and then he grabbed me by the arm in square dancing fashion, and gave himself a twirl, and I thought that wasn't very punk rock. Or maybe it is, but if that's punk rock, I don't think I'll miss that sort of thing. So anyway, that's my punk album, or the closest thing to it, and that brings us to 2020 reissue. I did not purchase a 2020 reissue, so that settles that one. And now you may think, well, that brings me to the end of the vinyl tag for 2021. It brings me close. I think it was prompt question number 9 that I skipped. That's the story one. I got to go back and make a video to tackle that one. My goal is to try to keep that one under 30 minutes if possible. Certainly under 45 minutes should be doable. But we're getting closer, folks. And if you've watched this journey from the beginning, we're getting closer to the final mile. So now that I'm done with my show and tell, got the new feature that's replaced the joke box, at least for the time being. It's show what's on top of my IKEA record shelf, number 2, and let's see what I got here. I have concert tickets from Halloween weekend 2009. This is the Friday, October 30th. The House of Blues, Dallas, Texas. The House of Blues presents the Pogues, and they would have, if it hadn't been for Gogol Bordello, this would have been the closest thing to punk that I would have added. The Pogues were a little on the punky side when they started out, and I do like the Pogues quite a bit. So this was a Pogues concert I went to with my wife before she was my wife. We were dating one another at the time, and we had a great evening at the House of Blues, Dallas. There was an opening act that night, Justin Townes Earl, and I found him to be very boring, and we did wander off during his performance because neither of us found him to be very interesting. I understand that he's developed a bit of a cult or a fanatical following of as those that admired his music, but he just did not capture my interest. So the one time I saw him perform live, I didn't stick around to watch him. The Pogues though were much better than I had even hoped for. Of course, Shane MacGowan was a big question mark at the time. This, 2009 was still before he had gotten those false teeth, and a long time before that hip injury. But he was coherent while he was singing, at least. Couldn't always understand what he was saying between songs, but he formed the words clearly enough that you could follow the lyrics. He was ambulatory and upright and moved around, and they put on a good show. They did the "Dirty Old Town," that Ewan MacColl song, and the highlight of me for the evening was that "Rainy Night in Soho." So there you have it. That's what's on my IKEA shelf. Here, the pair of Pogues concert tickets from October 30th, 2009. If you're curious which shelf, it's not on the shelf over here behind me. It's the shelf over there. That's my country record shelf. When I first assembled that shelf from IKEA, it wasn't a country record shelf because I was just getting my feet wet with the country music, and the country record collecting has taken over. I used to back at the time that the upper left corner was my Beatles section, and the Beatles are they're long gone now, but that I have up there where the Beatles used to be, it's now my Johnny Cash section. So it's a nice upgrade. And then directly below the place where I had this, that's the Willie Nelson Billy Joe Shaver cube. It's not really a cube; it's more of a rectangular, but close enough. Anyway, that's enough rambling for one video. I gotta save my rambling energy for that final question that I gotta go back and tackle. Anyway, that's that for this one. If you stuck around to the end, or if you stuck around to the past minute or so, this is like what they call garbage time. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks.